everyone, and welcome to another video. Denise would like to introduce you to Sassy Baba, who prefers to be known as John Lucas. "Hello, beautiful," he said. "How are you doing today?" "Good morning," said Denise the next day. "I didn't see your message yesterday." "Good morning, dear," he said that afternoon. "How are you doing today?" "I'm very well, thanks," said Denise. "I've been tidying up my spare bedroom." "Okay, that's fine, dear," he said. "I didn't know I needed your approval," said Denise. "No, dear. So, how are you doing?" "I'm very well, thanks," said Denise. Again. "You welcome," he said. "Aren't you sleeping?" "No," said Denise. This was 9:30 in the morning. "Aren't you?" "I was before your text woke me up," he said. "I'm sorry about that," said Denise. "Where do you live?" "I live in Phoenix, Arizona," he said. "And you?" "I live in Guildford in England," said Denise. "You'd better go back to sleep. I'll talk to you later." "Okay, dear," he said. "But we can continue texting if you don't mind." "Don't you have to go to work when you get up?" said Denise. "I'd want to know you better," he said. "Yes, that's later. It's 1:49 a.m. here." "You don't want to be too tired to go to work?" said Denise. "I don't want to," he said, "but at the same time I want to get to know you better." "What work do you do?" asked Denise. "I'm a structural engineer and, guess what? Contractor. And you?" "Yes, but what do you actually do?" said Denise. "Are they different things? I'm retired. I was an accountant. My late husband and I ran our own business." "My company builds eco-friendly houses, bridges, roads, schools, hospitals." "Okay, dear," he said. "I'm also widowed. I lost my wife to skin cancer. She died after the 3rd phase of chemotherapy." "I'm sorry about that," said Denise. "Why are you a contractor if you always work for the same company?" "I work for the same company," he said. "Don't you have enough work to employ you full time?" said Denise. "I sometimes get other jobs outside my company," he added speedily. "Oh, okay," said Denise. "We do," he said, in reply to her asking him if they didn't have enough work to employ him full time. "But as a structural engineer, sometimes some companies needs my speciality." "Okay," said Denise. "Yeah? What you working on at the moment?" she asked. "I just finished a maintenance work on a commercial building in New York. So, what do you get up to all day since you aren't working?" "I work in my garden," said Denise. "I knit for my grandchildren. I go walking on the downs behind my house. I do my puzzle books. I go out with friends. There always seems to be something to do." "Okay, dear," he said. "I'm 56 years old. And you? How old are you?" "I'm 76, said Denise. "Please don't call me dear. It makes me feel like an old lady." "Okay, beautiful," he said. "But age, guess what, is just a number. I want to be your friend. And more." "That's very kind of you," said Denise. "Age is years of experience, you know." "Yes, honey, age is just a number," he said. "And I wonder how many terms of endearment this scammer is going to use." "If you say so," said Denise. "What's important is the feeling of emotion and respect." "I know so, honey." "Hi, beautiful. I just got up," he said that afternoon. "It's 6:28 a.m. I'm preparing for work." "I guess I missed you," said Denise. "Have a good day at work." "And you too, dear." "Good morning, beautiful. How are you doing today? How was your night? Hope you had a pleasant night." "Good afternoon," said Denise. "It's too hot here today." "So sorry about that. I'm about driving to work." "Okay," she said. "Have a good day at work." "Thanks, dear. So what are you doing now?" "Riding a unicycle round the bathroom," said Denise. "What are you doing now?" "I just got to work now," he said. "Okay." "Yeah. What's your nationality?" "What a strange question," said Denise. "Why do you want to know?" "Because I'm half American and half Hungarian. You know, that old scammer tactic to prepare you for the fact that he doesn't have an American accent." "You mean you have dual nationality?" said Denise, "with 2 passports?" "Yes. And you?" he said. "I've always lived in Guildford," said Denise. "Okay, dear. I was wondering if we could text. I mean, text on phone." "I haven't got a mobile phone," said Denise. "I use an iPad." "Like, can I have your number?" he said. 01483 365 298, said Denise. There's no such number. Can you add your country code, he said. I've been trying to text you. Good luck on that one, mate. I'm in England, said Denise. I don't think you can text my phone. OK, dear, he said. It's on the wall in my hall. Maybe we can continue texting here, he added. That's what we're doing, isn't it? Said Denise. Yes, dear. You're such gentle and calm lady. I think I love you already. You're honest and sincere. That's very kind of you, said Denise. I really can't wait to meet you. Honey, I need to get started with work. I have some works on my desk. Can we chat later? Probably doing the lunch break. Take a very good care of yourself. Have a blissful day. OK, bye for now. Hi, Denise, he said later. Hi again, said Denise. I just had lunch. The lunch break is over, though. I texted you via your number. I won't get anything, said Denise. I don't think you can text a landline. Actually, you can, and get a robotic voice reading out the text. It's really weird. OK, dear, he said. But why don't you have a phone? I do have a phone, she said. It's on the wall in my hall. It's always been there. Why'd you hang it on the wall? He asked. Where else do you think I should put it? Said Denise. I could probably get my son to hang it on the wall in the living room, but then I wouldn't hear it ring if I was in the kitchen. OK, dear, he said. Are you on WhatsApp? What's that? Asked Denise. It's a messaging app, he said. I don't know what that means, said Denise. Good morning, honey, he said the next afternoon. How was your night? Good evening, beautiful, he said in the middle of the night. How are you doing? He really hasn't got the hang of the idea that she's in the UK, has he? Darling, you're so special to my heart. I don't know what I would do without you in my life. I love you dearly. The day was just as sweet and beautiful as you. I just want to be more than a friend to you, dear. That's very kind of you, said Denise. It's 1:23 a.m. here, dear, he said. Was thinking about you. How lovely of you, said Denise. Shouldn't you be asleep? Yes, but I don't have to work today, so we can chat. I'll sleep later. What work are you doing? Said Denise. You said you were driving to work yesterday. I'm a civil engineer, he said. I specialise in structural engineering. I told you that before. Yes, you said that, said Denise. But what are you actually doing? What did you do when you got to work yesterday? I designed structures for buildings, he said. That's what you were doing yesterday. What kind of building were you designing? She asked. A commercial building for clients in Taiwan, he said. Is that a new project? How long does it take to design a building like that? I've no idea. And you? He said. How did you spend your time yesterday? Don't change the subject, said Denise. Ask me whatever question you want to, he said. I'll answer you. I just did, said Denise. It depends on the number of the team working on it, he said. For my team, it can take up to 2 good weeks to design such buildings. Not very long, said Denise. I have no idea how long it takes to design a commercial building, but I would think it's several months, if not years. And since I double as a civil engineer, I have to be on site to supervise the work. Yeah, he said, in reply to her saying not very long. Does that mean you'll be going to Taiwan? She asked. So, how did you spend your time yesterday? No, he said. I'm not the chief engineer. My family came to visit. Wow! That's cool. I love spending time with family. OK, she said. How long have you been working on the project? For 4 weeks now, he said. You know, that building that's only going to take him 2 weeks to design. The feeling and joy that comes with spending time with family and loved ones is priceless. Interesting, said Denise. So why did you tell me this when I asked 3 days ago? I just finished a maintenance work on a commercial building in New York. Did you forget you were designing a building for Taiwan? It's a different project, he said hastily. I handle several projects. So you did forget? No, he said. Very odd, don't you think? Said Denise. I had finished the maintenance work, he replied. You don't understand me. I don't think you understand me. It's amazing how many scammers don't think Denise understands them. So, if I ask you tomorrow what you're working on now, will you give yet another answer? No, I don't understand you. I have finished working on that project in New York, he said. So I've joined the team for the project on Taiwan. Do you understand me now? So that wasn't what you're working on, was it? So no, I don't understand you. I'm the chief structural engineer, he said. I'm going to scroll back. Didn't he say he wasn't? Yes, up here he definitely said, no, I'm not the chief engineer. Oh well, confused or what? Now let's scroll back down. I prefer a man who gives truthful answers, said Denise. So, I can join any project, at any time, he said. I know you're a structural engineer, said Denise. You keep saying that. That isn't an excuse for telling tall stories. I'm truthful and sincere with you, said our untruthful, insincere scammer. I'm not telling you stories. You don't understand me. Can I call you? Yeah, if you want to, said Denise. And so he called her.
Denise.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
You can't hear me.
Yep, I can hear you, but it's not clear. The network.
Oh dear. Oh well. I don't know what happened there. I'm just being silly. I tapped on the wrong thing or something. I don't know.
I'm a structural engineer. Like I just finished the project in New York. I'm heading to another project. I'm the chief structural engineer in my company. So I have the rights and the infantry to jump into a new project, another project. Everything is under me. So they are all supervised by me. Do you understand me now?
But you just told me you weren't the chief engineer, which is why you weren't going to Taiwan.
I am not the chief civil engineer. I'm the chief structural engineer. You don't understand me.
No, I don't, darling.
Oh, you're getting everything mixed up. I'm the manager in charge of my unit. There is another unit for the civil engineering. I'm not the one in charge of that. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, do you have anger issues, darling?
I am not angry. You're making me feel like I'm trying to lie to you. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth.
Who said about lying, darling? You've got some issues, haven't you, darling?
You said what?
I said I didn't say you were lying. You've got issues, haven't you, darling?
I was trying to explain everything to you. You don't understand. I'm the chief structural engineer, but I'm not the chief civil engineer. You
Right.
understand it?
No, I don't, because I don't know what the difference is. What's the difference between a structural engineer and a civil engineer?
The structural engineer is a specialty, is a specialization under civil engineering. So I am under the chief civil engineer. Whatever it says I do, I do. But I have my team under me. I have several teams under me who are in charge of designing buildings, structure, roads, constructions, anything that has to be constructed, it has to be designed by my unit. So
What?
I'm in charge of my unit.
No, I said what's the difference between a structural engineer and a civil engineer, darling?
The structural engineer is a specialization under the civil engineer. The
So,
civil engineering is a broad engineering program. They are in charge, they can be highway, water, they can be structural engineering. They can be all kinds of engineering under civil engineering. Do you understand it?
no, so now you're telling me that they're the same thing?
It's the same thing, but one is the broad one, the other one is the specialization.
Right, so you're not both. You're one or the other,
Yeah,
aren't
I
you?
know both. I know both.
No, so why did you tell me you are? Do you actually know what
I
you do,
am.
darling?
See, it's this are technical word. There is no how you can understand it except you are in my field. That's what I'm telling you.
No. Why don't we start again, darling? Let's start right at the beginning. Tell me what you do. Are you a structural engineer or a civil engineer or both?
I am a structural engineer. You know, structural engineering is under civil engineering. So I
Right,
can call myself a civil engineer too. I
right.
have a degree in civil engineering and a specialization in structural engineering. Do you understand it now?
I do, and I really don't like it when you keep saying to me, do you understand? I'm not a child, darling. Where did you study your
Okay.
civil
No, no, no,
engineer?
no.
Where did you study civil engineering?
I studied at the University of California. I went to IMT to MIT.
Okay.
for my PhD degree. I have a PhD in structural engineering.
Okay. Hang
Okay.
on. My iPad is just telling me that I need to plug it in. Hang on.
You
Hang on.
said?
I said the iPad is just telling me I need to plug it in. Its battery's going flat.
Okay, okay. We can talk later. You have such a very beautiful voice.
Yeah, unfortunately you don't, do you?
I love to hear your voice over and over again. I would just want to keep hearing your voice. I'm just carried away by the beauty in your voice
Yeah,
and the
unfortunately.
calmness of your voice.
That's very kind of you. Unfortunately, I'm not carried away by the anger in your voice.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, we chat.
Yeah, yeah. I just listened to that bit back and I nearly spat blackcurrant water all over the keyboard. I really should take my own advice and not eat or drink when listening to these scammers. And yes, I was trying very hard not to laugh at the end there. I'm sleepy now, he said at the end of the call. That favourite occupation of most scammers. Sleeping. Good night, he said. Good night, said Denise. Good morning, honey. How are you doing today? Hello, my daughter came to visit today. I wasn't expecting her, but it was lovely to see her, said Denise, who'd ignored him for most of the day. Wow! That's lovely. Good morning, he said that afternoon. How was your night? I lost the charging lead for my iPad, said Denise the next day, who had ignored him again. It had fallen down behind the sofa. It's charged again now, but I'm just going to get the bus into town. Good morning, beautiful. How was your night? It's 4:26 a.m. here. I miss you. Have you gotten a new charging lead? I told you, it fell down behind the sofa, said Denise. Okay, dear. I'm glad you found your charger lead. So am I, said Denise. Okay, I'm at work, dear. It's 11:17 a.m., dear. Okay, maybe we can talk later. Yes, dear. I'll text you during lunch break. It's lunch break, dear. We can text. Hello, are you still on your lunch break? Said Denise half an hour later. I just got back from lunch break. The break is over, but we can still text. My goodness, his conversation is riveting. How you doing, beautiful? The next day. It's a beautiful morning here, he said. Mid-afternoon. I just got to work. Good morning, beautiful, he said the next day. It's a beautiful morning here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's just 7:21 a.m. He's good at the time checks, isn't he? The morning is as beautiful as your smile. Denise continued ignoring him. I keep missing you, she said the next day. How are the designs for the new building coming on? Fine, honey. I've been texting you too, but you weren't replying. Hope you're fine, honey. I'm fine, thanks, said Denise. I haven't used the iPad much this week. It's been lovely weather, so I've been outside. It's raining today. Okay, honey. Why don't you get a mobile phone? He asked. I don't want one, said Denise. Why, honey? He said. I've never had one, said Denise. So how do you call your friends and family? I use my phone, said Denise. Okay, honey. Tell me about some of the structures you've designed over the years. Have you always worked for the same company? Yes, honey. I'm preparing for work, honey. Oh, perhaps you can tell me later, when you've got more time. You must have designed some interesting buildings over the years. Yeah, dear. Yes, I have, dear. Tell me about them, said Denise. That's going to be a fruitless question, Denise. I'll, dear, he said. Next time you're here, do tell me about some of the buildings you've designed. I'd love to know about them. I find buildings fascinating. I love the look of the Opera House in Sydney, but I've never been to Australia. Have you been to Australia? Good morning, beautiful. It's 4:14 a.m. here, he said. Oh, sorry, said Denise. I'm still in bed, dear. Once I get off from bed, I'll text you. Good morning, beautiful. I just got up. Hello again, said Denise. I just came in from the garden. It's late afternoon here. Okay, dear. I'm at work already, but we'll close by 2 p.m. Okay, said Denise. Have a good day at work. Then you can tell me if you've been to Australia and tell me some of the buildings you've designed instead of just repeatedly saying good morning. You know, let's have a proper conversation, please. To which our man replied, Good morning, beautiful. This evening, said Denise. It's noon here, he said, and it's very hot. The temperature is over 90 degrees Celsius. Is the temperature hot over there? Are you ever going to tell me if you've been to Australia? Said Denise. Or tell me about some of the buildings you've designed. I haven't been to Australia before, he said. I've designed lots of buildings. I will list a few for you. I can't see anything, said Denise, on the 27th of June. Are you just winding me up? On the 20th of July, a man reappeared. Good morning, beautiful, he said. It's mid-afternoon, said Denise. You disappeared. What are you working on now? How are you doing, dear? I'm fine, thanks, said Denise. What are you working on now? I'm working a maintenance work, he said. Maintenance on what? And I'm still waiting for you to tell me some of the buildings you've designed. Maintenance work on Chrysler Building, New York. Good morning, dear. How are you doing today? I'm fine, thanks. You're back working in New York. You must do a lot of travelling. Yes, honey, I do. I'm always busy, dear. So how are you doing, dear? You sound like a busy man, said Denise. You finished the project in Taiwan? Yes, honey. Are you in New York now? And as usual, our scammer got that old scammer obsession in his head. Can I get a picture of you? Yes, honey, he said, in reply to her asking if he was in New York. If you give me your address, I'll post one to you. Can't you send your picture here, he said. I mean, there's no need of mailing it to me. Can't you share the video here? I don't know what you mean, said Denise. I have one of them digital cameras. My grandson Benji prints my photos for me. OK, honey. So you don't have phone number? Of course I do, said Denise. OK, dear. Can we text on phone? My phone doesn't text, she said. I don't have one of them mobile phones. Why don't you have a mobile phone, he asked. Because I don't, said Denise. I've never had one. OK, dear, he said. How long will you be in New York this time, she asked. Just 3 weeks, he said. Not long. Where'd you stay? She asked. I would need you to get a mobile device so that we can talk over the phone, he said. And in answer to where'd you stay, he said, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I know that, said Denise. Even I know Phoenix isn't in New York. Yeah, he said. Where are you staying while you're in New York? She asked. Hotel. OK, and you can talk to me on here. You're talking to me on here. I'm not always available here, honey. You can talk to me when you are available, she said. OK, dear. How's the project in Taiwan coming on? She said. Remind my old brain what it was. And you still haven't told me any of the buildings you've designed. You said you'd list them. Oh, later, dear, he said, thinking, help panic. How do I find a list of buildings that someone's designed? Ah, OK, said Denise. Sorry if you don't want to talk to me. I want to talk to you, but I'm busy now, he said. OK. Good morning, honey, he said 6 days later. Good morning, said Denise. Is it later enough for you to tell me some of the buildings you've designed? Apparently it wasn't, because at that point our man disappeared. I hope you enjoyed this jolly tale from Scamland. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.